Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to the Senate Education Committee. Today is Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo for everybody. And we do have a short agenda today. At this time, I would like to call the meeting to order. Ms. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Chairperson Cano?
Here.
Senator Quesada?
Here.
Senator Paulino?
Here.
Senator Seveny?
Here.
Madam Chair, we don't have a quorum as of now, but we will take testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. As our clerk has stated, we don't have a quorum currently, but we're going to be taking testimony for the bills that we do have in committee. We just cannot vote on the bills as of right now until we get a quorum for the committee. So the first bill in the agenda that I'm going to bring in front of you is Senate Bill 215 by Senator Picard, and are related to education, residence of children for school purposes, which requires the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and the DCYF to each pay 50% of out-of-school district transportation costs for children allowed to remain in the school where the children is enrolled at the time of the placement. At this time, Senator Picard have sent his regrets he's not able to join the committee, and I just want to make sure for members of the public that you do know that we have not received testimony for this bill today. So just if any members of the committee have any questions at this time for Bill 215 by Senator Picard. That being none, we're going to move to the second item in the agenda, which is also by Senator Picard, Senate Bill 216, and are related to education, residence of children for school purposes, which requires the state to reimburse the city-town for any costs associated with transporting children placed in foster care by Rhode Island licensed child placing agency or Rhode Island governmental agency to an educational facility outside regional transportation district. As I mentioned, Senator Picard has sent his regrets. He's not able to join us today. And at this time, I'd like to ask if any members of the committee have any questions or comments in regards to Senate Bill 216. That being none, we're going to continue with the agenda, and the third bill in our agenda is Senate Bill 635 by Senator Lawson, an act related to education, student transportation. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Senator Lawson that is with us today. Senator Lawson, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman Cano. Good afternoon, and to my colleagues as well. So this bill sets out to address concerns in student transportation. It would require local education agencies, LEAs, to enter into public transportation contracts that provide payment for 180 days or the length of the school year for drivers, attendants, aides, and monitors. So this is an issue prior to the pandemic. Bus companies were having difficulty retaining drivers, exacerbated during the pandemic due to a lack of job security. In addition to that, it requires the public service provider to utilize the Real Jobs RI training program, which is something we would have to address. It establishes a uniform disciplinary procedure between the LEA and the transportation company. This is currently lacking, so this would give a uniform process for this to take place. In the sub-A, I'll address that anyway, if regardless of whether we can bring it forward. Maybe we can now with Senator Dela Cruz here.
That's true, Senator Lawson. Why don't we do that now? And thank you for allowing me. Right now we do have Senator Dela Cruz and also Senator DePalma join, as well as Leader McCaffrey with us and Senator Gallo. So, Clerk, why can't we just make sure that we have them record as present at this time? And we have them here. I'd love to have a motion to hold for both Senate Bill 215 and Senate Bill 216, which we already heard.
So moved.
So motion to hold made by Senator Gallo, second by Senator Savini. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Tell them I'm here.
Chairperson Cano,
Yes.
Senator Casada, Senator Paulino,
Yes.
Senator Seveny,
Yep.
Minority Whip Jessica De La Cruz,
Yes.
Senate Majority Leader McCaffrey,
Yes, I'm also with Senate Whip Goodwin, so
And I would be yes too, Madam Chair.
Senator Gallo.
Madam Chair, Senator De Palma's on the line as well.
Yes, that was ordered. Thank you, Senator De Palma.
Thank you.
Senator De Palma, Madam Chair, we have 6 in the affirmative.
And both Senate Bill 215 and Senate Bill 216 have been moved for further study. At this time, Senator Lawson have submitted a amendment in Senate Bill 635. So I would like to have a motion to hold indefinitely for Senate Bill 635 and bring 635 sub A to the committee at this time.
So moved.
Motion made by Senator Savini, seconded by Senator Paulino. Can you, clerk, please call the roll?
Senator
What's your name?
Senator Cano,
Yes.
Senator De Palma,
Yes.
Senator Paulino,
Yes.
Senator Seveny,
Yes.
Senate Minority Whip De La Cruz,
Yes.
Senate Majority Whip Goodwin,
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair.
Senate Leader McCaffrey.
Yes,
Madam Chair, we have 7 in the affirmative.
did
Thank
you
you.
also get Senator Gallo and Senator Casada?
Yes, Senator Gallo is also noted as in the affirmative. Thank you so much. And Senator
you, guys.
Quesada as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So at this time, we have in front of us Senate Bill 635 sub A. Senator Lawson.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So the sub-A in this bill just includes language where the transportation provider that uses electric buses will be given preference when awarding contracts. So that's the only addition in the sub-A. So I can certainly try and answer any questions from the committee, but there'll be some people testifying who are far more versed in this than I am, but happy to.
Thank you, Senator Lawson. Does any member of the committee have any questions or comment for Senator Lawson at this time? That being none, we do have a few people sign up to testify in support of this legislation. And the first person that have signed up is Matthew Taibbi from Teamsters Local 251 in support of the legislation. Matthew, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman, and all the members of the committee. I thank you for the time. My name is Matthew Taibbi. I'm Principal Officer of Teamsters Local 251, and we represent over 1,000 school bus drivers, monitors, and aides in the industry here in Rhode Island. I want to thank Senator Lawson for bringing this legislation forward. It's a very important piece of legislation for us. And as it addresses many needs of school bus workers throughout the state, we feel it's very important that it levels the playing field for workers, for the companies involved, that it addresses due process in discipline, in having to do with school committees, LEAs. And I'd like to add that the amendment addressing electrification of school buses is very important for addressing climate change and issues. So overall, I think this legislation addresses jobs, addresses problems that exist within the industry, and taking a look at climate change in our environment is very important. So Just want to reiterate the importance of this, and I can answer any questions on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for your testimony. At this time, I'd like to welcome any comments or questions from members of the committee. There being none, thank you so much for calling in today.
Thank you.
Next person that has signed up in support of the legislation is Paul Mcdonald from Teamsters Local 251. Paul, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Well, good afternoon, Chairwoman, members of the committee. It's always nice to be speaking with you. I only wish that I could be with you, but we know that's not happening right now. I want to thank you first and foremost for this opportunity. My name is Paul Mcdonald. I'm the Legislative Director for Teamsters Local 251, and I'm also President of the Providence Central Labor Council, representing some 35,000 union members, who a lot of them are education professionals. The school bus transportation members of the Providence Central Labor Council ask for your support of Senate Bill 635. Members of the committee, you have a golden opportunity to recognize and support the true value of the professional school bus drivers. They who transport our most important cargo, our sons and daughters, Rhode Island's most precious resource. And it's critical for school transportation to have a full driver's pool. And I'd like to point out that the Real Jobs Rhode Island Driver Program will go a long way to accomplish that goal. As a member of the Governor's Workforce Board, I can really attest to the jobs program. It has been an important part for not only school bus companies, but for government, business, and labor. The other part of this bill, the 180-day school bus schedule, is vital to school bus professionals. School bus drivers, for the most part, are part-time, and of course, they rely on their paychecks. And if school bus transportation is interrupted for any reason, which might cause layoffs or termination of drivers, it'll never be the same. I can tell you, school bus companies are facing driver shortages every day. And any layoff, of course, has the potential of making things worse. Some drivers might be forced to leave and never return. So we know that the 180-day schedule with a paycheck at the end of the week is very important. I would like to thank you for your attention to this important legislation. And on behalf of the school bus professionals and the Providence Central Labor Council, I ask for your support of Senate Bill 635. Of course, I'm always glad to answer any questions you might have if I'm able to. And I wish you a good day.
Thank you, Paul, for your testimony today. We really appreciate it. At this time, I'd like to welcome any members of the committee. If you have any questions or comments for Mr. Mcdonald, this is the time. That being known, we really appreciate you calling in today in support of 635.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman and committee members.
The next person that has signed up to testify in support of this legislation is Rick McLeod from the United Food and Commercial Workers Local 320A. Rick, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate your time and those of the committee. I will be very brief, as the Secretary-Treasurer of the United Food and Commercial Workers is also scheduled to speak as well today, and I want to recognize Senator Lawson for her leadership on this legislation, along with the many of your colleagues that have worked very hard on this bill and this amendment. My name is Rick McCall, and I'm the lobbyist for United Food and Commercial Workers Local 328. Local 328 is the largest private sector union in the state of Rhode Island, with over 6,500 employees. Most of the workers are workers that you see every day at Stop and Shop or Shores, Eastside Marketplace, cafeteria workers at places like Roger Williams University campus, and some other schools here in the state of Rhode Island, and the cafeteria workers at some of our schools. In addition to all of those food service workers, we also represent workers in the cannabis industry, the banking industry, and we represent many school bus drivers as well as bus monitors. Dominic Pontarelli, our Secretary-Treasurer, will speak a little bit more in detail on the bill, but the reason we're in support of this bill is we have just gone through a very long and arduous conversation and contract negotiation with Durham Bus Services, which is one of the bus companies that we work with. And it went on for a long, long time. And one of the things was obviously the unpredictability of what's going on in the new world we live in. And I want to focus or jump on what Paul said and what Matt said, which is a provision regarding the guaranteed 180 days to be contracted for the school year. Madam Chair, as you know and others know, we're going to be in a totally new world post-COVID. Now that we're using Zoom and we're using more remote learning and so forth, the fact of the matter is the days that we all enjoyed when we got the phone call that school was canceled because of snow or the chance of snow, that's not going to happen anymore. And you're going to see more at-home learning because of the weather, also because of other circumstances as well. So the full 180-day school year may continue to happen, but some of it may be remote. And we don't think it's fair that the bus drivers and monitors who work very hard to transport and safely transport our children to and from school not be guaranteed the same amount of work that the education professionals in our state get. So for that reason, we support the bill and strongly support the language that guarantees that the workers will receive, school bus drivers, attendants, monitors, and aides will receive the 180 days. And for that reason, we're supportive of the legislation. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Rick, for your testimony today. We really appreciate it, and also the workers. At this time, I'd like to welcome any comments or questions for Rick. That being none, thank you so much for calling in today. Next person that has signed up in support of the legislation, actually in opposition, in support of the legislation, is Dominic Pontarelli from the United Food and Commercial Workers Local 320A. Dominic, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Dominic Pontarelli, Secretary-Treasurer, United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 328. I'm in support of this bill. The most important piece of this bill is the 180 days work schedule. Most of these workers, monitors and drivers, are part-time, and the monitors, some of them are just a little over minimum wage. They depend on this money to feed their families, and also the fact that they need a guarantee, and the companies also need a guarantee so they can retain these workers. And again, mostly this is about safety also. Paul Mcdonald had just said earlier that the most precious cargo is our kids, and with remote learning, there probably will never be a snow day again, and they will be hurt by this very badly if we don't pass this bill. So I'm in total support of this bill, and I think it's important that we pass this bill. And thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Dominic, for your testimony today and for your support of Bill 635. At this time, I'd like to welcome any comments or questions of the committee. That being none, thank you for calling in today.
Thank you.
Next person that has signed up to testify is Patrick Crowley from the Rhode Island AFL-CIO in support of the legislation. Patrick, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Patrick Crowley, and I am the Secretary-Treasurer of the Rhode Island AFL-CIO, representing 80,000 hardworking men and women across the state of Rhode Island. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this important piece of legislation this afternoon. My brothers in the labor movement had already highlighted the specific elements of this bill that the Rhode Island AFL-CIO are in support of. So rather than belabor the point, let me just reemphasize the fact that this is a priority bill for the labor movement. We think it addresses some structural inadequacies with how school bus drivers are treated by their private sector employers in the state, and given the importance of their role both during the pandemic and then after the pandemic, we think this bill will help establish a level of fairness in an industry that wants to do the right thing, but isn't always capable of doing the right thing. So we encourage you to pass this bill. Thank you very much, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Patrick, for your testimony today. At this time, I'd like to welcome any comments or questions from members of the committee. There being none, thank you so much for your testimony today.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And with Patrick, we have concluded our testimony for people that had signed up in support of the legislation. But for the record, I also would like to state that we have received 2 pieces of written testimony in support. And one is for Denise Nagy, and the other one is from Mary Ann Tower in support of Senate Bill 635. That concludes our testimony for this bill, 635 sub A. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to hold. Motion to hold made by Senator Seveny, seconded by Senator Paulino. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Chairwoman Cano,
Yes.
Senator Gallo, Senator Quesada,
She said
Senator De Palma,
Yep, yes.
Senator Paulino,
Yes.
Senator Seveny,
Yes. Yes.
Minority Whip Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Majority Whip Goodwin, Majority Leader McCaffrey. Madam Chair, we have 5 in the affirmative.
And the bill that had been moved to fall for further study. Thank you, Senator Lawson, for being with us today. Next item in the agenda is actually Bill 207 by Senator De Palma, an act related to education, residence of children for school purposes. Senator De Palma, welcome to the Senate Education Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill, folks, we've had several times before. This came as a result of the Every Student Succeeds Act and the best determination of the child, whether the child should attend school. And what this bill seeks to do is provide the ability for the situation where a child who lives in Middletown but is now living in a group home in Pawtucket, and the best determination of the child is that the child should go to school in Middletown. So the challenge has been the extended cost associated with transportation. So what this bill seeks to do is have the towns where the child's going to go to school pay for the in-district transportation, the regional that they pay for now, and have the state pick up the difference. And that's the basic what this bill seeks to do. I know Superintendent Director Tim Ryan, previous superintendent of Portsmouth, will be testifying about this as well. But this bill came as the result of conversations with BCYF, with RIDE, really Senator Picard being a leader in this several years ago. So we've been working this now for several years. So Madam Chair, I'll bring it over to you.
Thank you so much, Senator De Palma, for your testimony. And like you said, we do have Team Ryan signed up to testify today. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Team Ryan that has signed up in support of the legislation. Welcome, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Chair Cano and members of the Education Committee. My name is Tim Ryan, and I represent the Rhode Island School Superintendents Association. And we are strongly in support of Senate 207, the bill that would have state funds reimburse districts for required transportation under children with DCYF under DCYF care. The history of this is a few years ago, districts were responsible for all foster children and children under DCYF care within their district. And that meant when a child went to a group home or was transferred by DCYF, the local district was completely responsible for that child's education and services. That changed when the federal government passed the Every Child Succeeds Act, or ESSA. In that act, the requirement changed that when a child under DCYF custody went to a foster home or a group home, the child remained in their school of origin. And this makes a lot of sense because children who are otherwise successful in school would be further traumatized by going away from the kids they knew and their peers and have to relocate to another school. So the issue of moving the children and keeping them in their same school is fine. The issue for us was there was never any budget for transportation. 2 years ago, for example, when Socket spent over $500,000 on unanticipated transportation costs. And these are not covered under the funding formula. Other districts were severely impacted by this. So Senator DePalma and Senator Picard, and I do support Senator Picard's other bills that were heard this afternoon, exhibited great leadership in this and bringing groups together, the folks who support the children and foster families, DCYF, and the superintendents. And we all agree that we need a funding source to take care of this need. So we recognize that we couldn't get all the budget in a single year, but if we could get the concept passed, I don't think there's a disagreement about the need for this, and then gradually allocate the funds to fully fund this. So we're strongly in support of this bill. We've dodged it the last 2 years as we haven't had full in-person instruction, but we do anticipate in the 2021-22 school year that these costs will rise. Again, this is compounded by the fact that the state transportation system has become very expensive, and bus contracts have gone up 15, 20, 25% for many communities. So this is a big expense. This is something that Senator Pearson and your committee with the funding formula review have looked at as well. So I appreciate the opportunity to testify. If there's any questions, I know there was one. I spoke with Senator DePalma this afternoon, and I want to make it clear that when a child, for example, if a child from Woonsocket was transferred to a group home in Middletown, the child would be provided transportation back from their group home to Woonsocket, and Woonsocket would pay. It's a little unclear, and I believe it's Section 2 of the bill, but that is the requirement that we have agreements between the districts and DCYF. So I'm sorry I was a little long with this, but this is a very important bill for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Really appreciate your testimony and support today of Bill 207. At this time, I'd like to welcome any questions or comments from members of the committee. That being none, thank you so much for calling in today.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to also say, for the record, that we have received written testimony from Rhode Island Kids Count in support of this legislation, as well as the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns. They both submitted testimony on support of Senate Bill 207. I'd like to entertain a motion to hold. Motion to hold made by Senator DePalma, seconded by Senator Paulino. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Chairwoman Cano,
Yes.
Senator Gallo, Senator DePalma,
Yes.
Senator Paulino,
Yes.
Senator Pearson,
Yes.
Senator Seveny,
Yes.
Minority Whip De La Cruz, Majority Whip Goodwin,
Yes.
Majority Leader McCaffrey. Madam Chair, we have 6 in the affirmative.
And the bill has been moved to hold for further study. Senator Pearson, I know that you are in. Would you like to be recorded in the affirmative in Bills 215, 216, and 635 sub A?
Yes, please, Madam Chair.
That's noted at this time. And I also like to say to members of the public, for the record, that the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns have submitted testimony in support of Bill 215 and 216 as well. That has concluded our agenda for today. Thank you so much for being with us in Cinco de Mayo. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion to adjourn made by Senator Lou DePalma, seconded by Seveny. All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. Have a great day.